All right, so I've got a follow-up video to some of the questions on the initial video I posted this morning about somebody's child who's lacking compassion, and you think, gosh, I just thought they were a little jerk. And typically the answer is no. Sometimes, they might have some behavioral issues. However, when we find out that that sympathetic nervous system has been taking over their lives and they're stuck in that fight or flight response, whether it's from a 1 to a 10 on that scale, you're gonna find that they often will lack compassion. And you think like, man, why doesn't he feel sorry that he hit his sister, or that, he stabbed a kid with a pencil at school? I don't know, whatever it is. They're like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? They wanted to know, well, how does it change and when does it change? And as I was talking about, often it's linked to the vagus nerve and the vagal nerve tone, which the vagus nerve is a cranial nerve that exits out the cranial vault. There's 12 cranial nerves, 2 leave the cranial vault, and the vagus nerve is one of them because it's got to wander. That's what vagus means. It exits near that first cervical vertebra, right by the brainstem, right where our specialty is, right where we find a lot of tension. We also call that air traffic control because it's landing the signals up there in that brainstem. And it has to wander throughout the organs and glands and control them. And what it controls is the reverse of the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. And once that starts to kick into gear, and once the body starts to heal and slow down and reconnect, you start to see some of that compassion and those really gentle moments come back with the child that you were just so hoping for as a parent, right? All we want to do is see our kids just do amazing, successful, awesome things while they're here, and you feel really responsible often for their behavior, thinking like, what am I doing wrong? Well, their brain is stuck in fight or flight. It's trying to survive, so it doesn't necessarily care about being compassionate towards other humans. So it's great when you see that. Honestly, it's like good news, bad news, that there is a lack of compassion, and it could be because they're stressed out, they're in a state of fight or flight, and we want to get them out of that and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which adjustments do, and we have other ways, of course, while you're sleeping, it does. But one of the questions also were, what does it take for it to happen? How long? Is there still hope for me as an adult? Because let's be honest, we all need attitude adjustments from time to time, and yes, it works like a charm. I'm gonna hold up a study from Harvard, and I hope you can see it because it's just a chart, a line graph. I'm gonna hold it up here and make sure that you guys can see it. But when I'm looking at the age scale on the bottom there, where it has from 2 years old up to 70 years old, and when you're looking at the brain's ability to change, it's the blue line, you can see how high that is. From birth till 3, it starts dropping there at an accelerated rate around 4, 6, 8, 10, and then look at that, all the way to 70, your brain can still change. I don't know if they just didn't use test subjects older than 70. I'm not sure why it ended there. But then the orange line is the amount of effort it takes to do so. So look at how low it is from 0 to like 15 compared to where it is when we're a little bit older. The good news is our brain can always change. That is fantastic. It's exciting. That should be great news to you, because what we used to think is your brain's your brain and that's what you get and good luck. Now we know that's completely opposite. From 0 to 3, our infants are making 1 million new neurological connections a second. Just wild, because in our 30s and 40s, we're making that many in a year's time. So talk about their brain getting the right nourishment. We've seen studies before on brains and the health of neglected children compared to children that are loved and held. It's a huge, huge difference. That brain really, really matters on the stimulus that it's getting. The sensory organs are all working overtime to learn about their environment, to learn what's right. Well, if it's in a state of fight or flight and it's stressed, it's not going to pick up on little cues, like little social cues and compassion cues. You might have moments of it, which is fantastic, but there might be times where you're like, this kid completely lacks any sort of compassion. And it can be extremely frustrating and heartbreaking, especially if you're a snuggly parent like I am, and you're like, what is happening to my precious little child? Why don't they want to snuggle and love me? And why don't they love their siblings? This is a huge link. You guys have your kid checked. There's the thing, we check their eyes, we check their ears, we check their bodies, their hearts, we take them to the pediatrician. We want to know, how tall are they? How much do they weigh? Where do they rank in a scale of average? However, we miss checking the most important system in the body, which is in control of every organ, cell, tissue, gland in your body, which is that central nervous system, your brain, and your body. So I'm encouraging you guys to do that. If you need a pediatric chiropractor somewhere across the nation, go to thenwf.org and find someone. We're at Purpose Driven Chiropractic, and we've got more science and news at the Perfect Storm Idaho. We're going to be doing our next live event at the Co-op in Meridian. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. I promise you that you are going to gain some amazing knowledge, all science-based, all about the brain, all about how the body can heal naturally. I encourage you to go to perfectstormidaho.com and register your seat.